Now, the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you may have noticed a different background, and if you didn't catch me mentioning it in a previous video, I'd moved house. So I thought I'd share my new kitchen with you all. I'd like to think this would go without saying, but just in case, this isn't a kitchen I've designed and had installed. This is the kitchen that came with the house when we bought it. The only things we've done so far are paint the walls this olive green colour and change the door handles to these slightly brushed brass knobs. In fact, I still have one more to change so you can see what they look like before. Now, to be fair to the kitchen, it's still pretty solid considering most of it is almost 30 years old. However, I'm picky when it comes to kitchens, and let's say there are a few things I don't like about it and would love to change. So, in no particular order, here are 10 things I would love to change about my new kitchen. The sink. In all my years as a kitchen designer, I've never seen a sink quite like it. It manages to hit on all the things I don't like about sinks, as well as somehow create a new dislike I've never seen before. Firstly, it's a 1.5 bowl, which I'm not overly fond of, as it usually means you get a smaller main bowl, but that's okay, I can live with that. It's these two incredibly small drainer areas on either side. Personally, if I'm doing the washing up, I work from one side to the other, and I want a half-decent area for the washing up to drain. With this, there's no space at all, and I have to use both sides of the sink. So then clean stuff is in the way while I need to continue washing bits. Also, the shape of these drainer areas is bizarre. Well, the shape of the whole sink is bizarre, actually. It somehow manages to take up the most space possible while also not giving you any space to work with. And to top it all off, the drainer areas don't even drain. They don't slant down into the sink bowls, so all the water just pools and nothing really dries anyway. The bins. Now, personally, I like my bins out of sight. In a perfect world, I'd have integrated bins. But I know that's not for everyone, and that's okay, I get it. I just always say to think about your bins and plan them into your layout and design in a sensible way, functionally and aesthetically, even if that's freestanding bins. I think problems occur when you forget about them and then they become this afterthought and they just get plonked somewhere in the room, which I feel is the case here. It's not the end of the world having the bins here. To be honest, there's nowhere else they could go, really. But I don't think they're in the most practical spot, as you have to walk across from the countertop to get to them every time, which can cause some collisions when there's two of us in here working. And also, I don't think they're doing the room any favours when it comes to the aesthetics of the kitchen. I feel like this section of wall has more potential than just this bin area. The washing machine. An obvious one if you know me. I'm not a fan of freestanding appliances, especially right in the middle of a run of cabinets, and one that sticks out so much. For my North American audience, it is quite common here in the UK to have your washing machine in your kitchen. A lot of houses here aren't that big and don't have a separate laundry or utility room, and the kitchen is an obvious spot for one as there's access to water and a waste pipe, as well as it being a pretty standard size appliance, very similar to a dishwasher. So the fact that it's in the kitchen itself isn't unusual. Now, would I prefer to have it in another room? Absolutely, but I can't. So if that's the case, I would prefer to have it built in or integrated. Just from an aesthetic point of view, I feel like it really sticks out like a sore thumb. Also, its location is a bit of a pain. As I said, it needs access to water and waste pipes, which are by the sink. But you've got this corner cabinet in between, meaning all the pipes have to be run round through it. It would have been much neater, in my opinion, to at least have it on the same wall and run as the sink cabinet. And seeing as I just mentioned it, let's move on to the next one, the corner cabinet. If you've watched any of my videos before, or to be fair, most kitchen design videos, you'll know that corner cabinets are just the worst. If at all possible, I like to design in ways that means you avoid them altogether, but I appreciate in many instances that's simply not possible, and this kitchen is a perfect example of that. It's an L shape, so it needs a corner, and it's not a huge kitchen, so we also really need to make the most of the corner. And unfortunately, at the moment, this cabinet does not make the most of anything, which is a shame because it's a big cupboard, but it's a big lot of nothing. Because of the way it's been installed and the pipework necessary for the washing machine, it means that there's not even a shelf inside, let alone any corner storage solution like a Lazy Susan or something. And as I mentioned, because the washing machine sticks out, it makes accessing the cupboard a little bit more difficult too. So it just becomes this big, wasted, awkward space, which is a real shame because, as I said, the kitchen isn't huge, and really, this is storage real estate that should be working a lot harder for the room. No deep drawers. Now, my philosophy generally is the more drawers, the better, and have some good-sized deep drawers in there as well. Unfortunately, this kitchen has 1, limited drawers as a whole, but 2, no deep drawers whatsoever. I feel like this was a very popular look here in the late 90s, which is when this kitchen was first installed, to have drawer-line cabinets across the kitchen, which, fine, you get some drawers, but never enough and never the right size drawers. Give me some nice, deep pan drawers. Fantastic for storage and fantastic for accessibility. I want to bring everything out to me. I don't want to be on the floor picking through cupboards to get to what I need. Even just one of these cabinets could have been a drawer bank. I mean, come on. Lighting. I feel like this kitchen is almost the perfect example of what not to do. The single light in the middle of the room. We've put a new shade on it to try and help things out aesthetically a little bit, which is fine, but it doesn't help out in any way practically. I've said it time and time again, you want layers of light, and light in areas that you actually need it. This single light in the middle of the room just creates shadows everywhere you stand at the countertop, so all of your tasks are just done in shadow. It's not the absolute worst if it's very light out, as the big window really helps, but I live in the UK, and right now it's basically perpetual darkness, so light from the window doesn't really exist. Now, in its defense, there are some under-cabinet lights on this side, only one is broken, which of course is the one that would be most useful. So it's quite high up on my to-do list to replace and get up and running properly. It's by no means an ideal lighting setup, but it will certainly help for now. Visual balance. I didn't want to talk about the cabinet style and countertop color, those kind of aesthetic design choices, as they're so personal. Some people might love these cabinets and the countertop combination. It's not quite what I would choose, but color is so personal and I wanted to focus more on the practical elements. However, I think the visual balance is something that could have been done better. Obviously, the washing machine throws the visual balance out completely, but beyond that, the positioning of the hob, oven, and cooker hood isn't central on this wall, and with that, the wall cabinets are all different sizes, and it feels out of balance to my eyes. I feel like things could have been rejigged to have the cooktop more central, with more balanced wall cabinets either side, at least the width of the doors the same. And if this wasn't a countertop cabinet, I think it would have helped to feel much more lighter and more balanced overall. It's a good example of design that's not bad necessarily, but just that little bit more thought about the sizes and weighting of everything, and just that little bit of rejigging could have made it feel far more balanced and intentional. Flooring. Continuing on with the visual balance a little bit, personally, I feel the contrast between the dark tiles and the rest of the downstairs being this wooden flooring is a little jarring. I would have loved the same wooden flooring to have just flowed through the kitchen and all of the downstairs. I think that would have really helped make the whole place feel bigger and more cohesive. But more than that, these particular tiles are very textured. Well, some are and some aren't, which is a bit odd in itself, but then some have very deep ridges, which makes them quite difficult to clean. Don't get me wrong, I love texture, and I think I'd still pick these over something completely smooth and glossy, but maybe these have taken the texture thing just a touch too far. Also, another personal thing for me, I don't love square tiles, especially with such wide and contrasty grout lines. I feel like I'm walking on some sort of graph paper all the time. Not enough clear counter space. This is partly just because of the size of the kitchen itself, and to some extent, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. However, I think the layout and appliance choices have made it worse than it could have otherwise been. The best section of countertop is here, to the left-hand side of the hob, where the under-cabinet light doesn't work. This is where we do most of our prep between the sink and the hob. As okay as this is, I think it could have been improved had we not had this countertop cabinet taking up counter space. It would have freed that area up a bit more, and had that been the case and the hob moved along to be more central on the run, it would have given more counter space on the other side, which then could have been more useful. As it is, it's a bit small to really be practical for a prep area or decent landing zone. As well as this, for us, as it's just the two of us and we don't do a huge amount of cooking, a 4-zone hob or 4 gas rings would have been plenty for us. So we could have a smaller hob and gain that little bit more room either side there as well. And similarly with the sink, if it was a normal sink with the drainage area on just one side, it could free up the other side a little more for countertop space. The cooker hood. Two things with the cooker hood. Firstly, as you can probably guess, I don't love a chimney hood. It's big, bulky, and sticks out quite far that I'm almost always nearly hitting my head on it, and I don't love the visual weight it brings to the room either. For this kitchen, I prefer an integrated cooker hood in a cabinet that sits flush with the other wall cabinets, but that's just me. And secondly, this cooker hood doesn't vent outside, it's recirculating, which, okay, isn't the end of the world, it's just not as effective, and we need to change the carbon filters every now and then. But because we have a gas hob, I would have really preferred it to be vented out. Again, personally, I think if you have a gas cooktop, it's a bit more important to have good ventilation. I don't love the idea of burning gas without proper ventilation. So the window ends up getting opened a lot, which kind of makes the cooker hood a bit pointless, except for the light. So it's basically a big, ugly under cabinet light. And just for fun, I've got 2 more quick bonus changes I'd like to make. Following on from the cooker hood gas hob situation, I'd rather have induction than gas for my hob or cooktop. This is just a personal preference. I prefer the control, safety, and look of induction hobs, especially if I'm not able to vent out with a new cooker hood. And lastly, the dishwasher. I love having a dishwasher. We missed having one dearly in our last place, but why did it have to be a semi-integrated dishwasher? Obviously, I prefer a fully integrated dishwasher, but the fact that it's a semi-integrated, I'm not sure if that's worse than a freestanding one. Maybe, I mean, just pick a side. Either go freestanding, so it can be a bit more cost-effective and easier to change if that's ever needed, or go fully integrated to blend in and look nice with the rest of the kitchen. Just don't do the worst of both. Anyway, there you have it. A whole bunch of things I dislike and would love to change about my new kitchen. Are there any things in your current kitchen that just drive you mad, that you can't wait to get rid of and change up when it's time for a new kitchen? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video fun. If you liked it, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, where I talk about some of my other kitchen design pet peeves. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.